Welcome back to another issue. I'm Beastie Boy.
I'm Table.
I'm Red.
And it is I, Shino Brando.
And in this issue, we travel to every corner of the nerdyverse and spotlight characters of color.
So today I'm going to start us off with one Monica Rambo. Now, if you're not familiar, I can't exactly blame you because for better or for worse, she has been weirdly sidelined for a surprisingly long time despite her, frankly, illustrious history. So Monica was created by Roger Stern and artist Joan Romita Jr., her first appearance being in The Amazing Spider Annual number 16 in 1982. She is the second character to hold the title of Captain Marvel. She didn't even take the title. She was given it by the in-world media in response to her just being cool as hell and the other Marvel being dead. Rip Marvel. She has energy powers, as is Captain Marvel's whole gimmick, but hers are specifically light-based, which ends up playing a role into her many, many names later. Because poor fucking Monica gets her name stolen twice by the same dude. So...
Damn.
Did you know that 37% of you aren't subscribed to the channel on YouTube? You can help change that by hitting the subscribe button just below the video. And now, back to the show.
Marvel's son comes up to her and is like, hey, I would like to use my dead father's name, which is, you know what, that's fair. That's a fair thing to ask. And she goes, all right, I'll be Photon now. Cool, awesome, whatever. And then, sometime down the line, this guy's powers change, so he starts using the name Photon. And she's like, dude, what the fuck? She plays around with the name Pulsar for a bit, but she ends up settling on Spectrum, which is where she spends most of her modern continuity as.
Very good name, though, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Every single one of those names slaps.
Yeah.
Facts.
He's always had a good,
Now,
very good name convention as she went along.
Now, you may be aware that Monica has appeared in the MCU thus far. She was a small little baby in the Captain Marvel movie, and in WandaVision, she's recently turned up as an actual full-up adult, because that's how time works. Her role in that thus far is still up in the air to a big extent, but it's nice to see her. It's nice to see her on screen. It's nice to have her around, especially because she has been a part of so many teams, and she's played a leadership role in most of them, and she's played a hell of a part in every single one of them. She joined the Avengers. She ended up leading them during a 5-year run. She was on a team called Next Wave, but that's actually not real, which is for the best because that was a weird book and she was a weird character in it. She was on the Ultimates that was legal for a bit and then illegal and then working for Galactus when he was not evil and then legal again. She gets around. Now, I think an important thing to note is if you go to her basic wiki page, it tells you that she's law enforcement. This isn't entirely true. She's a part of the New Orleans Harbor Patrol. So she's not a cop. She's just on a boat. She's a boat cop. I'll take Coast Guard over anything every single day of the week, you know?
For real.
Her powers are the result of basically a criminal scientist fucking around, and she's the one who found out. This guy made a machine that tapped into, like, extra dimensional energy, and she got zapped with it. Now, I said light powers earlier, but I wasn't really clear on what that means. She has everything from energy blast to being able to shunt her entire body mass into an extra dimensional plane and replace it with an equal amount of energy of any wavelength from the spectrum, the light spectrum, but also electricity, which I'm not entirely sure how that works. I don't care. It's cool as hell.
That's such a specific power.
Yeah, right. And I'm guessing lightning hits like light spectrum either way. So I mean, why not?
Yeah. So it's fucking cool is what it is. And she can only be one wavelength at a time, but she can switch between them in like a fraction of a second. So functionally, she can be multiple very quickly. She also ends up getting powered up at one point because she has a near-death experience and Blue Marvel gives her an energy boost. And this energy boost both saves her life and then turns her into a literal goddess of light.
Oh,
like she becomes an immortal entity that has a hard light projection in human form because that's what she's comfortable with and what her consciousness likes to attach to, but she is no longer human. And she's a little bit anxious about it, to be honest, because she goes, this is cool right now, but how am I going to feel about this 1,000 years from now?
1,000 years from now, excuse me, I'm sorry, God. I'm sorry.
It's why one of her aliases is Lady of Light or Sun Goddess. Like, she's literally that fucking
Yeah, man.
cool. Unfortunately, she does not stay a super awesome goddess of light because
God damn it.
during the adventures they're going on for Galactus, eventually the Greek goddess of Nyx comes into play, where she's going around killing other gods to reclaim divine power or whatever, so she can remake the world in her image.
Of course.
TM.
Oh.
And because Nyx is the goddess of night, she kind of blots out the sun for a bit, which, alas, Vision is on the team, and alas, that's a problem for him. So Monica uses her own energy to power Vision and get him into the weird other realm House of Ideas thing that they have to go to kick the shit out of Nyx. She ends up burning through enough energy that she becomes human again, and I think that's lame as hell.
Yeah.
That's
pretty
so
lame.
awful.
Yeah, that sucks.
She gave up being a goddess for that fucking loser?
That sucks, man.
That dude just barely got his own show now. Like, what a CT character. Like, Monica, what the fuck are you doing?
I know. It was true nonsense, but not as nonsense as the next wave shit. So I mentioned that she was weird in it. When I say weird, I mean she worked for HATE, as in highest anti-terrorism effort. Yeah.
Boy.
He was on a team with a guy known as the Captain, Boom Boom, Aaron Stock, and Elsa Bloodstone. And she was
Whoa.
constantly like, are you guys aware that I am the only person here qualified to lead anybody? And they were very rude about it the entire time. But you know what? She was objectively correct.
Elsa
For some reason, she
Bloodstone's
was
cool.
yelling the names of her energy attacks all the time. But guess
Mhm.
what? This probably didn't actually happen. Because later on, Monica claims that she spent a year remembering events that never happened.
Oh.
So they decanonized this entire book because it just wasn't very good. The best part of it was Monica, and they were assholes to her. So, get fucked.
Yeah, right?
She also led the Mighty Avengers, which is different than the normal Avengers because the normal Avengers were in space at the time, and she got together a whole bunch of people to fight one of the children of Thanos, who was fucking around. She was also
Oh, right.
recruited by Black Panther to fight off a vampire outbreak in post-Katrina New Orleans as a part of an all-black team-up that was Luke Cage, Blade, Black Panther, and Brother Voodoo, who apparently she has had an on and off again relationship with.
Oh.
Say less.
Aye, captains.
Okay.
Like, I think you just stunned us all. Brother Voodoo is like the witch doctor version of Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
And that dude's cool in his own right. And maybe we'll talk about him someday, just like Blue Marvel, you mentioned him earlier.
I
Another
sure did.
super cool dude. But Brother Voodoo, like, fucking around with Monica Rambeau. God
She
damn.
can do better.
I mean, yeah, but that dude's swinging up.
I know. I mean,
Like,
damn,
that's
I mean,
just not-
You know what I mean?
Like, that dude's swinging not just beyond his league, beyond his fucking sport.
She.
I mean, Brother Voodoo does his job, man. Right? Like, other than I think one other person, he's like the other one in line to be like Sorcerer Supreme. He's,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
in that line. So he's pretty up there, man.
Oh, shit.
So, Monica's appeared in a lot of places over the years. She's mostly featured in Avengers books. She has had a couple of one-shots that were, interestingly enough, written by Dwayne McDuffie. And there's a few collections of all of her appearances that are out there now, one of which you can buy on Amazon. She's been in the background of stuff here and there. A lot of Elseworlds have her jazz hands somewhere. But it's been a long time since she's been properly spotlighted. And I really hope that her recent appearance in the MCU kickstarts some interest in her so we get her back on the page. And maybe on screen, please, pretty please.
Or on screen. You know, I mean, the one thing the MCU was lacking way beforehand, other than Black Panther's cast, was a strong black female lead. So, you know, the more the merrier to be. So.
Oh, but don't you know, Marvel only knows one thing to do with its female characters, and that's shove them off the same cliff!
I know.
Every iteration of Captain Marvel's pretty fucking cool, but Monica did it first.
She did.
She was
Facts.
Captain Marvel when Carol was still hanging around as Miss Marvel, which, no disrespect, she kicks ass. She always has. But Monica was just so unbelievably cool that the media looked at her and went, that's gotta be the new Captain Marvel, right? That's who that is. The only bad version of Monica was decanonized. Like, that's how great she is.
That's good. That's good stuff. Well, yeah, people don't remember that she's led a team where she's been in charge of Captain America. She led him.
Which captain has seniority? Marvel.
Yep. She literally does. He's not an official captain. So
That's the thing. She was in the military at some point, depending on what version of canon you're looking at. She was a
Right, yeah.
lieutenant with the Harbor Patrol, but like, all right, that's Monica. I could keep going on, but we do have other fantastic characters to see today.
So jumping to the Blue House, we are going to talk ourselves through Duke Thomas, the 6th Robin.
Fucking love Duke.
So Duke made his first appearance in Batman Volume 2, number 21, in 2013. This dude has only been around a very short while, so there's lots more of him to be told. Having first shown up in a storyline called We Are Robin, where he joined a few hundred other kids in putting on the infamous R, Duke was a part of the en masse defense of Gotham when Batman wasn't available. This boy's first interaction with the good old Bat was when the Riddler had killed the power to Gotham City and then proclaimed, if anyone can tell me a riddle that I can't solve, I'll turn the light back on. During the Riddler's, dumb shenanigans of inverting his usual shtick, a hurricane hits Gotham City and straight up knocks Batman off his feet, and then he winds up at the Duke's family house, and they rescue him.
Thanks, Duke.
This boy's first interaction with the Bat was the Bat was unconscious, and he saved him.
I'm unconscious. Are you an orphan?
Funny enough, I'm an orphan with powers.
Ooh, even better.
So his powers include photokinetic vision, so he can see different light sources, photo retrocognition, so he can see how light bounces around a room, or how it used to before he was actually in the room, and also advanced electromagnetic vision, so he can see the entirety of the electromagnetic spectrum.
Jazz.
While regular continuity Duke is cool in his own right, there is an actually more badass version in Dark Multiverse Dark Knight's Metal. In this dark and twisted version, when the Justice League was putting on the armor set made up of 10th metal, the until then unknown weakness of nth metal, get it because it's
Excuse
the ninth.
me.
Yes, sir.
Pause. What?
Yeah, so the Justice League came up with and forged armor out of 10th metal because it is the only known weakness of nth metal. You know that thing that Hawkman's mace is made out of? That's nth metal.
Yes. Okay, so, and not to derail too long, but brief. How in the hell?
They wished it possible.
The Dark
Because
Knight's
magic.
Metalverse is powered by dreams and nightmares in equal
Just
measure.
carry on. This is a discussion for another day.
Oh
So
my
when the
God.
Justice League put on this magical set, instead of what went down in the light version of Dark Knight's Metal, where they won the day and they beat the nth metal and oh my god, it's awesome. This was actually a trap set by
Barbatos.
Barbatos,
Yes.
the Dark Batman god. And they got stuck in this armor and very quickly molded all into dragons.
We fucking love dragons. This story is wonderful.
Diana turned into a Hydra. She is the queen of snakes and stone. Superman
Wow.
turned into Cryptothrax, the true Doomsday.
Okay.
Hal Jordan turned into the Death Construct. Beware his power, Hal Jordan's Blight.
Mhm.
Aquaman turned into a Tyrant Worm, the Devourer of Atlantis.
He looks real silly.
And Batman, because he was stuck too, Barbatos decided that he was going to be his host. And so
Okay.
took on the body of that Batman in his dragon form and became the Dragon of the End, the final form of Bruce Wayne.
Holy shit.
Pretty fucking cool.
Okay.
So these dragons would go on to terrorize 51 different Earths.
Minus the one. Okay.
Right. Duke, having found an armor set of his own, was able to jump world to world to find some sort of leg up to actually win and, not stop existing. He dropped his usual title, which is the Signal, and
Okay.
became known as the Last Monitor.
He's like the hall monitor that goes, this shit needs to stop.
So, at the conclusion of this series, with the help of the Joker Dragon that we talked about in our Joker episode, Hawkgirl and Nightwing truly a team that's made just for me and my brain. Duke was able to free Batman's body from the Dragon of the End, and then skinned that dragon, made his armor into plating, and then took on the notation of the Final Night.
Whoa.
Wow.
Damn.
Okay.
Just before a wave of energy that was eating up Earth's ended his Earth. And because he was wearing Barbatos's basically skin, he survived. We don't know where he is. He is on a different Earth, not of those 52.
Okay.
He is, in fact, not in the Dark Multiverse anymore.
So not only did Duke Thomas, the very last Robin Batman would train, defeated all of the Justice League in dragon form, he also is the last of his universe, dressed in the skin of not only a version of his mentor, but also of a dark god.
God damn.
Our regular continuity Duke didn't have a name for like the first year of his existence. Like, he wasn't Robin, we knew that for sure, because Damian was Robin. So that title's kind of taken. And we didn't know he had light abilities yet, so couldn't really base anything off that. So he was in a dream sequence. He went by the hero name of Lark.
Yes,
Okay.
which is super cool, and I kind of wish he'd stuck with it, but
In my personal headcanon, for a while, because he's got light abilities and he's really like has this way of seeing things that other people don't, I was going with Canary.
Ooh. Well, I mean, but Canary's so close to Black Canary.
very
yeah,
cool, but
I
yeah,
know.
pushing
Yeah.
his luck.
And so going with the Signal, but that's real close to the Bat Signal, so this is where we are.
Jesus, could have gone by anything. You could have been like the
That's a joke,
Sparrow.
yeah.
You could have been the Finch. You could have been anything.
Right?
There's a lot of birds.
A lot of birds, man.
Right? If you can have Bluebird, you can have just Yellowbird. I don't care.
Yeah, that's it, man.
But my point is that his creator, Scott Snyder, could not give him a name within the first year. And that sucks.
Struggle. Yeah.
It was just weird. He was in a really nebulous place, especially because Duke doesn't turn up outside of his books very often.
Mm.
Like in Batman and the Signal, he's there. He's doing stuff. It's a good story, generally speaking, and you get some pretty good Batman Duke relationship moments.
Mm.
But if you look outside of those books at other Batman content, you go, all right, where's Duke? He's probably in group shots, and
His-
that's sometimes it.
Yeah, his last known appearance in regular continuity was on a team of the Outsiders led by Black Lightning.
Really? Okay.
Like, always happy to keep more characters out of Gotham drama, but at the same time, like, come on, where's Duke?
Where's the boy?
Yeah,
Where is
don't
he?
hide him. Don't hide him. Come on now.
And also, having a Robin of color is something that DC was kind of overdue for.
Yeah.
Because Damian has a mixed heritage, but people like to draw him a very specific way.
Shouldn't be white, but he sure looks white a lot of the time.
Boy, oh boy. So having the first ever audience insert be somebody of color lets more people associate themselves with being beside the Batman.
This is correct.
And who doesn't want more of that?
I know I do for obvious reasons.
More Duke Thomas, DC.
Yeah,
Get on it.
please, more Duke Thomas. But that's the end of the Duke story I'd like to tell.
All right. Guess it's my turn then. So who I'm bringing all starts back in 1993 with a tween Shino watching a lot of TV. He was influenced by a lot of martial arts, a lot of breakdancing, and a lot of rap music. And so, throwing on the TV, and I think sometime in the summertime, first day watching Power Rangers, saw Zach Taylor. I was just calling him Zach, but seeing Zach Taylor for the first time, grouping with his friends, Jason, Billy, Kimberly, and Trini, gave me an avatar to be in a group setting with a couple of kids who want to save the world. And seeing him draped in the Black Mastodon costume and being the character that he is really related to me. Zach was quick-witted, loved a lot of sports, very clever. Believe me, at a time, even I was breakdancing and agile like Zach was. He influenced my life a great many. So watching him connect with his friends on screen really got me grouped with a couple of friends back at school, and we literally were I was the Black Ranger. I am the Black Ranger. Me. Okay. I was
That's me,
Zach.
guys.
I was Zach for a very long time. And just watching him just inspired me to do so much more with my life at that time, man. Like I was ready to be more active, and I just followed his influence. I did everything Zach did. I went to karate courses. I did breakdancing. I did every kind of sport you could think possible, and loved it, man. At a time, 93, again, there was a time period where black characters were few and far between, and seeing Zach pop up and gave me a new superhero altogether, man. That cool battle axe he had, that mastodon, Zord that he piloted, man. Just being that team player that he was, very reliable. The gang really relied on him. He had he wasn't the brains, much like Billy, but Zach was a clever guy who kind of got them out of sticky situations a whole lot just by being quick-witted, man. So the only other Ranger to ever don the gold shield from Tommy.
Nice.
Yeah. Tommy wore
Which is
the
huge,
power shield. Jason wore the power shield, and the only other color to do so was the Black Ranger.
Even on a small note, even his basic fears were relatable to me. He had a fear of snakes, spiders, insects, you name it. And I hated all three. So much so that I wouldn't even go near any of that shit when I was a kid. But he, like Zach, he kind of conquered his fears. And over my time, growing up, I did too. Zach is just that real strong connection to me. I grew up with that guy being that hero figure that I wanted to be. So much so. Just an incredible character, man. And it broke my heart when they left. I believe there's contract disputes between his actor, Walter Jones, the Red Ranger, Austin St. John, and I believe Tweed Trang. They were, they had contract disputes, so they were leaving the show. So I was losing a character, but at the same time, I mean, I had him for a good 1-2 seasons, dude. And so I can always remember him, man. And even to this day, when I talk to my old hometown friends, man, they always still relate to me as Zach. I'm me. I'm the Black Ranger. I'm me.
What I would say to you is that if you want to continue the adventures of Zach Taylor, the Black Ranger, in the Boom Studio comic books, when they left for the peace conference and did the power transfer, in the comics, they actually went on to be Zordon's, more space rangers is what they did.
Okay. Really?
And so I believe he becomes part of the Solar Ranger team.
Solar Ranger.
Yeah.
Okay, you're going to share material with me. Thank you.
I sure will. Zach Taylor's adventures as the Black Ranger, when it comes to TV, ended when the power transfer happened. However, Boom Studio, after picking up the license for that book, decided that, his story's not over yet.
Okay.
We got some stuff to do.
And if memory serves me right, when Lord Draken, the evil version of Tommy that possesses both white and green Power Ranger powers, starts to take over multiverses, we find out that Zach leads one of his guards and becomes the Black Centurion Ranger.
Really?
Oh, so that makes even more sense. God.
Really?
Yeah.
In the power structure of their whole roster, you had Zach and Tommy, and even though the two of them sparred a whole lot, if one of them was not available, they really went to Zach because Zach was so accessible. He would match just about any fight style to his teammates, which is also incredible. He was just a natural talent. Man, I love that guy so much. I love Walter Jones also, man.
And that guy has, not only does he have lots of reverence for his time as the Black Ranger, but he is very notable for anytime people wanted the Black Ranger to show up in something unofficial, he has been more than happy to show up, do the morph, hold his battle axe, and lead teams.
That's one guy I know. If I were to meet him, I'd probably cry, honestly, as a childhood hero for me.
Well, first things first, we need the Backstreet Boys to go away.
Very much so.
They are currently taking over every convention center everywhere. It's really impressive, actually, how they can run between them so fast.
Won't stop performing. And yeah, man, if you watch Power Rangers, I think it's still available on Netflix, no? I think it's still there,
season 1 of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers is still available on Netflix worldwide. And that is the season with Zach Taylor, the Black Ranger, in it. However, if you would like to see up to where the power transfer happens, I don't believe that's in that season.
Really? Okay. So they have the highlights before the egg.
Right. Everything that people remember, exactly how they remember, is there for you.
Speaking of the power transfer, his understudy, Adam, I like Adam. I like Johnny Young Bosch, man. I love that guy. He's a fantastic actor, fantastic voice actor. I liked when he took over the role, and I find it interesting that when they did the Power Ranger like film, the reboot, the 2017 reboot, they race swapped, which I'm like, well, I'm not really losing on the character. I mean, Billy's not black. I mean, that's all right still, but I
Mhm.
found it interesting that they gave it to an Asian actor and made him Zach. So you're getting a bit of like Adam and Zach in one character, which is still cool to me too. So.
And while we're on the topic of the 2017 movie, the black actor who played that is autistic and played an autistic character.
Interesting, even better. Look at that.
So not only do you have your bi POC, you also have somebody with disabilities.
I mean, I wish that movie panned out a little bit more, but I hear they're rebooting a whole bunch of stuff out of that too, so I'm excited.
Agreed.
And that's it for me, man.
All right, and then I guess I shall take it to the anime world of all this.
Last
So-
but certainly not least.
Exactly.
We are getting around today.
Yes. So the character I bring to you from the anime world is Ogun from Fire Force, the recent anime that's been popularized very much and has a very good opening for season 1, which people love, and it is amazing to listen to. It is literally on my Spotify, and it is so hype. But
Okay.
the character that is Ogun Montgomery, who is in the English sub, voice acted by Makoto Furukawa, sorry.
Yeah, help you
But
out.
he's voiced by basically the voice actor of One Punch Man, Saitama himself.
Ooh, okay.
And the English dub version is Zeno Robinson, so who does the English dub of Hawks and some other characters as well too. He's a very interesting character, but otherwise he's from the anime, which was created by Atsushi Okubo and was released by Shonen Jump magazine in September 23rd, 2015. And the animation started in July 6, 2019. The reason why I bring this character up is that you see him more or less in season 2 at the academy which was, I believe, the Special Fire Force Company 4. So there's 7 different squadrons, and in the main anime, you focus on like the 8th company, which is like a special division that kind of got made in a sense because of some other things that were going on in the anime. But yeah, he's a good friend of the main characters that you see, which is Shinra and Arthur, who were the main focus of the series as well. But the reason why I bring him is because his abilities and references to, I guess, African culture is really unique. So the references of him are for his abilities. So he has this main ability called Flamey Ink, which I believe it should have a better name. But
Yeah.
basically, he has this kind of tattooed ability that just applies onto him. And
Okay.
it increases his fire output ability almost up to the point of one of the main captains of the Fire Force Company 1, who's a really strong dude. But nonetheless, besides that, the abilities are more closer to the Yoruba tribe, which is one of the tribes, and I believe Nigeria.
Okay.
So the different technique names that you'll usually hear from when he, I guess, basically obviously announces them is Yoruba Lance, which is basically a fiery set of fire lances that he shoots out.
Okay.
Yoruba Blacksmith, again, Flaming Ink. Yoruba Forge, Slam Dunk Burial, and Fourth Force Dunk. And
Okay.
when you see this man fighting, this man can throw hands like nobody's
Said,
business.
we're gonna make this guy. If we make this guy authentic, we're gonna double down on that shit.
Yeah, like when the mangaka that I mentioned earlier, when he was researching, he was doing some good research and incorporated obviously some good references of African culture, let alone abilities, but representation as well. It made him really stand out, which is cool.
Yeah, man. Yeah, he sounds like an intense character. Like I haven't seen it yet. I keep hearing all the good buzz about it, right? So I'm definitely like interested in it. I just gotta find the time to watch it. But man, like you're telling me all the good stuff about this guy right now.
Besides being another one of the black characters in the anime, he's also like a good hand-to-hand fighter capable of beating down enemies with quick and brutal strikes, and also up to the power of another black character actually that's on the evil side of the anime series, more or less one of the protectors, I guess you could call him, but named Karon, or in I guess English hyphenation it'd be Sharon.
Okay.
So but yeah, he's a very strong fighter in a sense. And in the one of the I guess episodes that they have him on with a mission for Shinra and the rest of the gang, when he applies the flaming ink, they do a quick reference to per se JoJo,
Okay.
which is to Star Platinum and his
Okay.
famous Uro
Yeah.
battle strikes. So
Right.
at first you don't hear it right away because he's doing some like some other battle cries that like will that he'll incorporate, but then you hear it like midway while he's fighting this one of these things called a demon infernal, which is basically just a tougher fire demon that's involved in the series.
Right.
But this man this man hypes up a little bit more, and he just on this mother like this dude's so hard and it's so beautiful but also so hype. It's so
Now,
good.
I'll let you know that auras actually it is a thing
Mm.
that they do out there, right? Just that it just happens that JoJo popularized that, man. So
And what's also interesting about, like, again, mentioning about the Yoruba, I guess, religion per se, is that what Ogun is in the Yoruba religion is basically, translation would be to Orisha, a spirit that is tied to metalwork, blacksmiths, and tool makers. So that's why when you see his abilities, it will be kind of like spear-like weapons, or like, weapons to use in battle, depending on obviously what generation of or country you'd see. But yeah, you'd see in that sense of like abilities with the fire tools that he makes.
damn, man, he sounds
Yeah.
like a he's like a mix of gods. He's like a Hephaestus with like a fire god, man. It's crazy.
In a sense, yeah, basically. But he's also like, in a sense, I guess you could reference it to like Haitian voodoo, West African Vodun, Santeria, and Candomblé, which is other religions in the other connections of Yoruba religion as well. So that's where, like when this man was looking at research, he was like looking at some research and making sure, things made sense.
Yeah, he dove in. He's like, I'm gonna double down on this, man.
Yeah, and you know what? We love representation, and we love people that do their research, that they know what they're doing.
This dude
It's
did like
representation, but accurate representation. What?
Exactly.
this dude did like Black Panther levels of deep dive into different cultures and pulling from everybody, but respecting it all in one go.
That's right. Yeah, it's incredible.
But yeah, this guy's like, he's so cool, man. Like when you just see him fighting, nonetheless, like of just like casual talking, like I want to see what more he can do as the anime progresses. The manga obviously is further on, and I haven't read that, but when you see just the sheer power of like his fighting, it is so unique and it's so cool.
I'm definitely interested. Like, man, I don't want to, because like everybody keeps trying to tell me to look it up, and I don't want to see like clips and stuff, because I mean I don't want to see anything out of context. I just want to see it actually flow. So I do have to tune in. But like, yeah, you share images with me, and I'm like, everybody looks fucking rad. So like, I really want to watch it though.
Yeah, and for fans actually of the author, he is the creator of Soul Eater, so he will, obviously throw references in, and even into the manga, which they've aliased for Ogun, his alias names is King of Park and Black Star.
Okay.
Yep.
If you want to hear our thoughts on Soul Eater, you can click the link in the top right, because we discussed the shit out of that show.
And if you want to hear more about Fire Force, which is an anime that I recently have caught up and loved the shit, like this video for 27 likes specifically, because that's another anime reference that will be talked about later. Okay. And then we will talk about it, and I will leave that episode.
Oh, he issues challenge, people.
But yeah, all in all, this guy's a very cool fighter in the series itself. And once they again get to hopefully the third season like announced, then we can see more of what he can do.
You know what's great is that yeah, the four characters we brought to the table here go way back from like late 70s right to like current, man. And it's great to see in the last 40 plus years of characters, especially characters of color in medium. Like these characters here were not treated poorly, and we're given given spotlight proper, and that's what's important. So good stuff. Good stuff, man. I love all the characters you guys brought. To be honest with you, I never really knew much about Duke Thomas. I just knew he existed. I didn't know really much about him. So thank you for that, Red. It's always good to hear about Monica. I'm happy to see her on TV now. And of course, you've always enriched me with some good anime stuff. So like hearing about Fire Force is always good. And I'm definitely going to watch that. So, yeah, man, I love their discussion today. This was good stuff.
And this is the first of a handful of part twos that we have promised our audience. If you would like to listen to us in our part one version, where we took 4 more characters of color and chatted through their life experiences, you can find that episode also linked to the top right about now. But with that, that sounds like a brilliant time for Beastie to end us off.
It is me.
It is
I. That brings us to the end of our very special episode and representation Black characters. But that also brings us to our socials, which is our Twitter at Crusade Nerd, Instagram at Nerd Crusade, and we also upload every Wednesday to YouTube, and you can download any previous episodes or listen on your mobile device through the Anchor.fm or wherever podcasts are found by searching Nerd Crusade.
And that's to be continued.
Thanks for tuning in. If you like this video, go ahead and button mash a thumbs up. If you want to swing by when we have a new video, web up the sub button. Oh, and while you're at it, hit the bell to be notified by...